welcome back to Y&R For Life, where we talk about all things Y&R related. We talk about what's going on, my predictions, what do I think's going to happen. Hey, we even talk about fashion on the show from time to time because I'm a big time fashion girl, so we got to spill the tea about that. If you're new to this channel, my question is, what took you so long to get here? And if you are returning, what's up? Long time no see. Can I say that this week I was losing track left, right, and center? It was, to me, all over the board. So I'm going to try my best, see what I come up with whatever I really recall from this week, because it was somewhat sleepy. I don't know. I'll explain. Couple of disclaimers. If you don't want to know what's going on, you kind of want to get caught up on your own, this may not be what you want to see or hear, but I am so grateful that you are here. And if I happen to not, mention something in particular, it could be because I plumb forgot, or it really just wasn't newsworthy, so I didn't bother mentioning it. It is what it is, nature of the beast. That's what I like to say. And if you do like this type of content, you like what you see, you like what you hear, it would be so kind if you hit that like and subscribe button and also the bell notification so that you don't miss a single video that I post here on Y&R For Life. Just before we begin, yes, I still have some sort of cold. However, it is much better than it was last week. And at this point, it's like sinus pressure, if you will. So I'm hoping by the following week that I'll be that much better. All right, so where should we begin? Beginning of the week, boring. It was Chelsea and Adam. Now, I like Adam because he brings humor to the show, and he does not fail at that. But him and Chelsea, again, they're like Bonnie and Clyde. It is what it is. So the two of them are at society. They're having a conversation, concerning this whole Billy, Kane, Sally. I'm really beginning not to care about this. Not that I did, really, but this whole Kane, he is so... he is cutthroat, but it's like his brain is 1 minute, it's like this, the next minute it's down here. He's all over the board, and it's like he just can't seem to know exactly, he doesn't seem to know exactly what he wants. He does, but he doesn't. I don't know. So he's bothering me. But what are you gonna do? So yes, Chelsea and Adam are having this conversation about basically the three of them, insert Victor here and there. And, what are they going to do? Nobody's giving a scoop on the whole Abbott Communications non-launch, if you will. And they want to know what's going on. Of course, Adam and Chelsea know about this whole AI thing. Oh, it's ridiculous. And they just basically want to, I don't know, cut things off at the pass, get statements, the whole 9 yards, figure out what's going on. If they can figure out what's going on, more power to them, because I can't figure it out. Like, again, Kane, he is a loose cannon. But aren't they all? Okay. We'll get into Kane. Oh, Cardigan Kane. Shortly. But before we do, we're going to talk about Kyle and Claire. Didn't I mention last week she's starting to get right under my skin? And sure enough, this week did not disappoint where that was concerned. She is sitting there talking about how, and again, it's just words, that how she does love Kyle. Now, maybe there's that sprinkling of love, but I don't know why she just doesn't end things in the respect that she's already said she finds it hard to forgive him, with what he did with Audra, the fact that he took forever to tell her, and she had to basically pull it out of him, blah, blah, blah. So then why are you hanging around this guy? And he's there like a lost puppy, like, oh, Claire, I love you. I did everything for you. I would have told you sooner than later. And, I'm just so in love with you. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, Kyle, let's have a little therapy moment, if you will. You're doing the most where your girlfriend is concerned, and she's not reciprocating anything except dig after dig after dig at you. Why are you even wasting your breath? Are you so blinded by love, if you will? Huh. I don't remember him having to do all this where Summer was concerned. Yet, okay, Summer, she had many faux pas, but it didn't get like this. Kyle, get the ring, return it back to the jeweler, and give Claire her walking papers. Be done with it. Because we all can clearly see that she has her eyes set on Holden, and couldn't help but notice while Kyle and Claire were at the coffee house. Here's Kyle, again, puppy dog, if you will. Picture this. They're sitting at the table, and he's going on about, well, I just love you, and I know what I can do to kind of basically fix this. He didn't say that. Okay, so he ends up saying, let's take a trip to Paris for a week. We can do this, we could do that, we could do this. Esther happens to hear this, and she's like, oh, that's so nice. Young love in Paris. You're such a lucky girl. I always wanted to go to Paris. Esther, why haven't you been to Paris? Like, you have money. Like, what is going on? I mean, you're slugging it back at the coffee house. You don't need to, but okay. Whatever. So yeah, Esther gives her, 2 cents, and go team, go, if you will. And meanwhile, Claire is there like stone-faced killer. She is not interested. She tries to fluff it off about, I'm starting a new position and I'm really excited, and, I can't leave my mom. She's still in mourning. No, she's not. None of them are. Anyway, so she's giving every excuse in the book to Kyle as to why she cannot go to Paris. And Kyle's like, come on, I already talked to your mom and she's okay. And she goes, yeah, I know you talked to my mom. What did you do? Ask her to put in a good word for you? She's insane. And then she says to him, is this what you do? He's like, well, what do you do? What do you mean? Try to fix things? He's like, well, try to. And she's like, yeah, I've just, 1 minute you were proposing to me, the next minute now it's a trip. Like, what? Claire, you're an idiot. Like, leave the guy alone at this point. Do I feel bad for Kyle? Maybe this much. Not much. He did it to himself, per se. However, I don't believe you should be groveling like that to anybody. Like, no. She's already said that she really can't find her way to forgive you, so be done with her. Well, who walks in? Holden. I called it. I was just like, cue Holden now. There he was. And Holden, oh yeah, I just... Meanwhile, No. Holden Holden is up to some tricks. Meanwhile, I think, spoiler alert coming up. I don't think it happened this week. Did it happen? No, I think this is a spoiler alert for next week. Has to do with Claire and Holden. He's going to ask her to like take a plane with him to LA. I can almost bet the farm she's going to go. Claire, you're not, no. This is all sorts of wrong. If you want to go and dipsy doodle with Holden, tell Kyle you got to go. That you can't forgive him and just move this along because all of this is very unnecessary. All right, that was them. Who else? Oh boy, Mariah. Mariah and Daniel with a side plate of Tessa. So Mariah, like a thief in the night, she asked Daniel to come meet her at the park. So she goes on and on about how, she wants Daniel to do her a solid, basically. And through conversation there, she's going back and forth about, basically she's unwell. She's got to go and fix herself, and she just can't continue to do this, whatever she's doing emotionally to Tessa and Arya, and she just can't do this anymore. So anyway, she is now trying to enlist Daniel's assistance in order to be a friend, and as she says, watch out for her wife. Okay, Daniel was like, why me? She's like, well, I noticed that you guys are getting closer. I mean, if Daniel didn't look like he was a deer caught in headlights, I don't know, because he was like, and she's like, yeah, I could see it. What she fails to see is that Daniel has the hots for Tessa. Everybody else sees it, but she can't see it. She just thinks that he's like a really good friend. Insert the fact that Daniel brings up Cassie's name. Now, everybody is speculating. When I say everybody, I mean other soap fans, if you will, is speculating that perhaps Cassie ain't dead. No. Cassie, unfortunately, has expired. I don't care. There is no way. I don't believe this for 1 minute. Now, would it be a good storyline to somehow crop up Cassie out of the blue? Possibly. But no. So Daniel's telling Mariah how, it would be interesting if Cassie was around to give Mariah advice versus himself. And he's like, Cassie would never do this and Cassie would never do that. And she's like, but I'm not Cassie. I'm not Cassie. And, sometimes I wish that, I knew her, but I didn't grow up like her. She was like so kind, and I'm not a kind person. Who says this? Way to admit it. Okay. So, yeah, she does not tell Daniel what she did, but she basically says she's done something horrible. And yeah, she got to bounce because she's all over the map. And Daniel is now wrestling. He's at war in his brain over the fact of, this is what Mariah has asked me to do. I have feelings for Tessa that I've developed. What a conundrum. What am I going to do? Well, Daniel leaves there. He goes and he sees his father, Danny, at it was Crimson Lights, I believe. Was it Crimson Lights? I believe so. Kind of doesn't matter. Crimson Light Society, whatever. Um, and he's there. Oh, it was Crimson Lights, and he was talking about what Mariah had asked of him to do, and he he just sounded very somber. And basically Danny picks up on this and is like, are you kind of like torn, so to speak, given the fact that you are developing these feelings for Tessa? And he's like, he's like, look, Dad, I'm not gonna break up, their marriage. That's not what I'm gonna do. And a matter of fact, I'm still reeling over the loss of Heather. And he's like, son, you gotta tell me, like it's just you and me. It's just us. Like, tell me what's going on so I can help you. He's like, you know what? It's better I just keep my private life private. Now, I agree with you on that. Keep your private life private. That goes in real life. However, Daniel, I think you need to like give yourself a little bit of grace here. You can't help the fact that you developed some feelings for Tessa, and clearly Tessa has developed some feelings for you, but she hasn't admitted this yet to herself, because she's still holding on a hope and a prayer for Mariah to turn around and be the Mariah that she knows. Newsflash, Tessa, not happening. Not happening anytime soon. She is troubled. So, yes, Danny couldn't help Daniel. And eventually, Daniel ended up meeting up with Tessa later on. And Tessa basically was like, what's going on? What did Mariah... And Daniel tells her. And then through conversation, she decides that she wants to go and do her own little private eye investigation, wherever Mariah was, I guess the hotel she was staying at when she nearly killed the man, if you will. Again, who knows if the guy had died, or we don't know. But she's going to go and do her own little private eye business. And basically Daniel is like, you need company? You want me to come along? And she's like, can you do that? Like, you have time for this? He doesn't work. He has no job. He has time. She's like, oh, okay. Well, something's going to happen between the two of them while they're away. It usually does. I mean, look at Adam and Chelsea back with Connor. That's how the two of them hooked up. So, whatever. And I think deep down inside, Mariah knows that there's feelings that have developed more than friendship between Daniel and Tessa. And maybe she's trying to ease that in where Tessa won't be alone. But hard to say. Okay, so that was pretty much that. We did see Cricket with her 3 dresses that she was trying on at Marchetti, which, side note, I actually liked that set of Marchetti where she took the photos. I liked that set. It was kind of this minimalist type with the exposed brick. It was really nice. I liked it. And it was a nice change from seeing like everything else that we already know. So that was nice. Which dress did you like? 1, 2, or 3? Now, I'm not a big Cricket fan, as you know. However, there's this whole big thing as to which dress should Cricket pick. I'm telling you, it's like a whole big to-do. I'm going to say ditch the gloves on the third one. Did not care for that. First one I didn't mind. The second one, I'm going to go with the first one. The second one, the lace, albeit nice. Didn't quite care for it on her. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna say I'm team number one. Just to give her something. Oh, we find it out that it's November. Is this wedding? Oh, if you care, great. Sorry to be such a Debbie Downer where this is concerned. I can't. No. And it's just too cutesy wootsy for me with her and Danny. But okay, if they get married and ride off into the sunset, like I said, there is no love lost. Bye bye. And yeah. So while after she tried on her dresses, if you will, she had a conversation with Lauren. Let's backtrack for a moment here. At some point in time, Lauren had a conversation with her husband, Michael. And Michael ended up getting, I think it was a text message. Was it from Kane or was it from Amanda? I feel like it could have been Amanda, but whatever. Neither here nor there. The point is that Michael kind of was like, yeah, okay, gotta go kind of thing. And she's like, wait, what? And he's like, oh, it's nothing. He just kind of put it down. Actually, no, he didn't say you gotta go, but he just put it down like if it was nothing. And then eventually he basically said to her that it was just, I think was it campaigning? Kind of doesn't matter. It was basically a useless message that came through. So of course, Spidey sense Lauren, ting, was like, something's not right. Something's not adding up here. I mean, he looked guilty. He did. So yes, he is getting all these messages from Amanda, from Kane, whatever. And so now he's hiding this information from Lauren because she does not know that he's now taking this job with Kane. Which these guys, Kane, Phyllis, Michael, Amanda, it just reminded me like I was watching like Ocean's 11. Like, what? These guys, I don't know. It was either that or what's that other show? Oh boy, can't remember it off the top of my head. However, it was like, what is going on with these? Which is why I felt it very difficult because it was like they were on this plan, and the plan's a go, and Michael's ready, set, go. Phyllis is ready, set, go. What? What is going on? So anyway, back to Michael and Lauren. After all that, Lauren, of course, is like, what's going on with my husband? So she then tells Cricket, because she's, she basically led on to Cricket just based on her demeanor, if you will, that something was wrong with her. So of course Cricket started probing, and she was like, blah 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 concerning Michael. She's like, I know my husband, I don't know what's going on. There's something, I wonder if he went back to work for Victor. Well, technically, if we want to be technical about it, yeah, I think he has, but through Kane. Anyway, Michael, I love you. Like, you've come a long way from when you first started on the show. But you need to tell your wife what you're doing. Are you crazy? She's not going to approve of it, but you need to tell her. I mean, as I tell my kids, the worst, like, never ask a question that you don't expect the worst answer, However, it's either you're okay with something or you're not okay with something, and give her that. Let her be in the know to know whether she's okay with what you're doing versus she's not. And I think, there needs to be some communication. You're going to go tell her eventually down the line, that ain't going to cut it. She's going to be pissed. That's what's going to happen. But you must know, I mean, Phyllis is doing whatever, but she ain't got nobody to answer to. So, yes, poor Lauren is sitting back going, oh my gosh, what's going on with my husband? All right. Before we get to Kane and his silliness, let's go to Sally. She was going around town telling everybody, like, because she's all, distraught over Billy. After the whole blow up with the Abbott Communications non-launch, if you will, she's like a basket case. She's trying to save Billy from himself, but nobody, Sally, in case you were unaware, nobody can save Billy except Billy. And even then, I don't believe that he wants to be saved. So just let him self-destruct like he normally does. I mean, this week, Billy would look like he was, his hair was caught in a light socket, because it was all over the board, because this guy's losing it over the fact that basically Kane snafu'd any opportunity. As per Kane, Billy's a liability. So he just, you're out, Billy. Like, okay. So of course, Billy's like, he's losing it. But of course, she was at Society when Chelsea and Adam were there, and she's explaining herself. She was there talking to Jack, trying to, basically save Billy again. Like, she's all over the place. Oh boy. And then Billy is sitting back again, questioning Kane as to why is he not in the mix? What's going on? Give him the AI program because he wants to stick it to Victor. I mean, Sally left Billy this week. She was like, don't contact me, no nothing. And he's trying to fix things, but that's not going to happen. Billy's crazy. It's not going to happen. He's going to self-destruct like he always does. And then he has nobody to blame but himself. This is what happens. Come on. So yes, at some point in time, Jack told Victoria, and then the two of them came in like guns blazing at Billy, and they were confronting him about his behavior and like, what is he doing? And even Victoria was like, you're gambling again. You've got the fever. You got the fever. I could see it. I saw it when I walked in the door. Yes, Billy is on this whole, he's gambling, not necessarily with money, but he's gambling with his emotions and, his love or just desire to win. So now it's almost like become a high for him. Okay. So again, he is besides himself. He is yelling at everybody. He had told Jack, like, leave and take your funding with you. He did all this, didn't tell Sally. Sally finds out from Jack. It was a mess. Even Tracy, and we're going to talk about Tracy. Oh boy. Even Tracy got involved too and was like, oh my God, Jack, like, no, he can't do this again. Oh no. Tracy, you need to write a book about your brother at this point, because he's not listening. He's not. But say lovey. Let's just, as I said, let's talk about Tracy. So Tracy, she came back and eventually she ends up at society. In walks Kane and Phyllis because I feel like the two of them will hook up briefly. Nothing long term. I just think they'll hook up briefly. Ew, that's what I can say about that. But they walk in. I think Tracy was. Who was she speaking to? Michael? No. I think I think it was Michael she was speaking to, and then he left. And was it Michael? Anyway, see, I told you my short-term memory, but she was speaking to somebody there. And then eventually Phyllis took over after said person left, and they were having their little conversation. Meanwhile, Kane, should I not start calling him Creepy Kane? Because the way because Tracy was like, oh, hi, Kane. It's nice to see you again, da 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 da. If you recall, years ago, this was what, 6 years ago, if you will, Tracy was doing her little writing of a book, and I guess Kane was her muse in this, if you will. And Kane had, at the time, had started developing feelings for Tracy, which was one of the weirdest pairings ever on this show. And then back in the day, he tried to kiss her. And she was like, no. Which I don't blame her. I'm your kid's godmother. No. Sorry. So she cut that off real quick. And so he left tail between his legs at that time. So now, fast forward to now, he's like looking at her like if she's fresh meat. I was like, even Phyllis was like, because he's just looking at her with this creepy glare like, Kane, do not mess with Tracy. Don't do it. This poor woman has been through the ringer. So do not do that. And wait a minute. So now you've got, googly eyes on Tracy. Meanwhile, just before that, you're with Lily at the coffee shop having some drinks with her. And then talking about, will there ever be a chance for the two of us? You're still the most beautiful thing that I've ever seen. Blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, okay, no. Which I believe they're going to end up back together at some point in time. Whether they be exclusive or they just shack up. But that whole creepy look with him and Tracy, that just was like, this is weird. So again, Phyllis saw it. So I don't know. Anyway, so now, should we call these guys like the Brat Pack? Michael, Phyllis, Amanda, and Kane. They're now systems go, guns a-blazing, getting ready to try and launch this AI nonsense that will basically rule the world and take over all these businesses, and everything will be Kane's. Oh boy, I don't care. I just don't care. I await the new people to come on the show and hopefully bring a little bit of oomph, if you will, to these boring storylines that are just, it went from bad to worse. I don't No. So, did I miss anything? Maybe, but once again, kind of don't think it was newsworthy. Um, it was what it was. So there you have it, folks. If you stuck around to the end of this video, you know I appreciate your time. You know I love you lots. And we're going to see what happens next week. Hopefully it will get worlds better. But if it doesn't, I'll do my best in order to give you something to hold you for the week. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and also the bell notification and share, share, share. Why? Because sharing is caring. You guys take care and I will catch you on the next video. Bye.